Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about decentralization and a decentralized organization and the sort of consequences that it has with the sharing economy. And this is specifically about the sort of reciprocity platform. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, right? For the last 3 or 4 years of thinking about decentralization and the sharing economy. So I'm a professor of innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship, and I had this wonderful idea a few years ago to actually create some sort of platform. I was driving home from Orlando. My mind was kind of wandering, and I live 4 hours from Orlando in Florida. You can find out where I live by just Googling me. But I had this wonderful idea of like, well, can we create some sort of platform where we can get feedback on our writing, where you can actually sort of incentivize people to give feedback and make it pretty easy to do that and incentivize people to do it sort of freely, as well as sort of use this as a sort of stepping stone for people to understand how to improve their writing, and for those people that are willing to help other people out to gain some sort of benefit from that. So I had this idea of reciprocity where you can go on and you can sort of share. So reciprocity is written with a 3, and you can share so if you have work that needs to be proofread, you can just put it up there. And then what the system is going to do is sort of check through and find somebody that's willing to actually proofread that particular work. And then that particular person's going to get credit for it, right? So the editors are going to get credit for that work. And once they get good enough, they sort of reach milestones, and then they can eventually start converting those credits into money. And so this got me into this long journey of understanding the sharing economy. I was kind of loosely understanding what that is because I study innovation. But this is becoming much more important to me in understanding what's going on. Initially, the genesis of this particular idea is I had a large data set that was really dirty and really messy, and it was really hard to clean in any sort of way. It had a lot of text data. And this is, for any of you that understand this kind of work, it's incredibly hard to sort of sort through text data and make sense of it. So I wanted to create some sort of platform where you can kind of go through and work through this very quickly and easily. And it sort of set me on this idea of thinking about the sharing economy. And I think after, a few years of study now, an important concept with the sharing economy is decentralization and being a decentralized organization. So what do I mean by that? Well, decentralization is where you have the control and decision making within a organization. It is decoupled from any one particular person or any one particular unit, right? It could be meaning that is decentralized across a geographic area. Could also mean that one particular person is not making any particular decision within the organization. So somebody else broadly sort of participates in the sharing economy and makes decisions on your behalf. And you have to be sort of willing with that, right? So think about when you ask a forum, for example, for help, you just ask a question. Quora is a great one that does this. It's kind of like a pseudo Quora forum. You put your work out there, you ask a question, and somebody randomly in the middle of nowhere, they can be in Arkansas, for example, and they're answering a question from somebody in Iraq. They just help you out, right? So, and you don't know who that person is going to be, and you just help somebody else. So it's really about just being willing to get somebody else to make decisions on your behalf and give you feedback or giving you help on your behalf. And lots of people are willing to do this just because, and other people are motivated financially, but lots of people are willing to do that just because. And it's really largely, if you think about this idea, it's largely about the democratization of work. And as we move this way, this is going to become a lot more democratized. Work is going to become a lot more democratized, where you can actually get, you have a question, you just ask somebody on the internet or the interweb, and somebody is going to answer, or somebody's going to solve that particular problem for you. So this overlaps, if you don't know, this overlaps with ideas of crowdsourcing. And the idea behind crowdsourcing is you have a particular complex task. You give it to a machine of some sort, some algorithm. The algorithm splits it up, it goes into many different directions, and it goes to different people, different agents. And those agents do sort of subcomponents of that, and then it comes back to the system, comes back to the algorithm, and the algorithm combines it together and gives you an answer. That is sort of better than any one particular individual can do. And that's really what this particular reciprocity platform is, aiming to do, is to decentralize this as much as possible, so that I can help writers, or we can sort of get other people involved, so that they can, lots of people can get help from this particular system. And it's really what stemmed from my own anxieties and getting feedback on my own work. I didn't know what to do or where to turn to. There was no sort of platform out there to get feedback on your work. It wasn't really all that intuitive. Just other websites seemed a little bit suspicious to me. It wasn't sort of central to anything that I was doing in terms of getting sort of proofreading help. So I thought, create some sort of platform where this is going to become easy and fun to use, and just, allow that to happen. So the key thing that is driving this right now is this information technology, right? So the internet is a really key sort of driver of what's going on, and we couldn't do this. We didn't see any sort of organizational forms like this until probably about 2004, 2005. Then we're legitimately sort of coming online. Now, there was some stuff before that, sort of these chat rooms and things like that. But this is becoming built around organizations that are very decentralized, and the sharing economy is really starting to take off since about 2005-ish sort of mark, maybe a little bit before that, but really starting to become really important. And that's really because the internet allows you to sort of do these blanket calls that are open, and anybody can do them, and any point in time can do them. And as well, it's geographically, it sort of spans large geographic area. And so that allows you to capture a lot of heterogeneous people, a lot of different people, idiosyncratic people that are all around the world, that are able to sort of help you out in some sort of way, and find somebody that is going to help you out in some sort of way. So it's like a dating website, right? So a dating website, before you had to go to the bar and find somebody at the club or the bar or whatnot, and that's a really small pool of people to find that matches you. But with the sharing economy, you can go and open up this bar to North America, and all of a sudden you have this huge pool, and there's somebody weird enough out there to date you, right? And that's the same thing with the sharing economy. It's sort of the same analogies in the sharing economy. As that opens up, and as you sort of get a larger reach, and that's what the internet does, you can start tapping into all these many different things. So what are some key takeaways with what I'm trying to say here with our understanding of the sharing economy and decentralization? First of all, the sharing economy is only going to increase because the infrastructure that we have at this moment is growing in terms of allowing us to do this, right? So the IT, the information technology that we have is growing, and it's becoming more important. It's becoming easier to do this kind of stuff, right? So YouTube, for example, is going to become more important as we move with the sharing economy. Right now, it's kind of a fringe thing. Doing this YouTubing thing is still pretty fringe, but in say 5-10 years, it's going to become really, really important, particularly with education and things like that. The second thing is the sharing economy is still incredibly fraught with difficulties of coordination and thinking about coordination. YouTube is a perfect example of that when we think about coordination. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to be very helpful on YouTube, for example. And then there is sort of nasty people out there that go and put comments, anonymous comments on other people's work. that really hinder this sort of coordination and open sharing economy. So YouTube itself, Google itself, is really trying to combat that to ensure that there is much more freely dispersion of information that's out there. So they're combating trolls and stuff like that, which is great. And, anybody that's doing the YouTube thing truly appreciates what Google is doing and trying to build a platform that is very safe in order to sort of disclose your particular ideas. And the sort of third thing with the sharing economy that lots of people, we think about the sharing economy as ride sharing and all that kind of stuff, but that's not necessarily all that true. What the important thing is not the technology itself. It's really about democracy and thinking about how this world is becoming a lot more democratic in a lot of ways. And democracy meaning, not like the big D kind of democracy if we think about United States or anything like that, but thinking about democracy in terms of allowing people to get a voice. And that is becoming more important, to have this voice and having sort of thinking about what this voice means for you going forward. It's very, very important. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, ding, ding, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.